Hello, beautiful humans. Well, stumbling over my words off the get go. Hello, beautiful humans. Welcome back to another episode of It's Sunday. I am your host, Caleb Nelson, and I have my new friend Sunny on the program today. I don't know why I always say the program on the podcast, the episode. Thank you for showing up and hanging out with me today. I'm so grateful to have to share some time with you today.
Yes, this is definitely my honor because the first time, my last name's Sun. That's why I call myself Sunny. Then
Yeah.
in this the Naked Sunday show, so like we already really aligned with all the sun and the
Mm,
shine and fun. So I'm really looking forward for today's conversations.
love it. The alignment, like it was just written in the stars. There we go. Look at that little foreshadowing on top of it. We got it going. I love it. I don't know if you listen to any episodes, but one of what I do like to do to start every episode is I like to share why I appreciate my guest. And the reason
Mhm.
why I do this is because I believe we need to start telling each other why we love each other. Crazy to think that might be a good place to start on this whole journey to creating some sense of world peace. So, with that in mind, I was a guest recently on your podcast, and something I really appreciate about what you do is that you seek to bring both your scientific background. I know we're going to probably talk a little bit about that today as well, and you like to merge that with the spiritual. And what I love about this is that in this world right now, so many people look at like these polarities. They look at two opposing sides, not realizing we're trying to solve the same thing. And I think there's a lot of beauty in being able to marry the concepts and be able to speak both those languages together. I think that's how we're going to bring each other together. Somebody who wants to be super strict and rigid in numbers and all that stuff. And then there's that side that's more ethereal and more in the feelings. How do we find that common ground? And I think that's a beautiful place to start. And I'm sure with your clients and the people you serve, that blend of being able to hold both spaces at the same time is such a powerful influence. So that's something I really loved and appreciated about my time with you, and something I appreciate about you in general, being able to hold the space for both. And I think it's fantastic.
Well, thank you, Caleb. I think yes, we do. First of all, our brain is trained us to see things differently. We have a lateness and a rightfulness, right? Um, but they're together. We just need to kind of find a different way to see the differences. Right? If we choose to say differences is not comfortable, is weird, then you've already limit yourself to feel good. But if you think, wow, this is new, this is fun. I never see the things that way, right? It's just the curiosity and also the openness. It's really sometimes we become last and last with those, right? As a kids, I think we all have openness and curiosity, but I just sooner or later we become adults, we become too serious. Right? When we become too serious, the playfulness is just gone. And I think it just maybe for my own journey is after the seriousness, I become so playful. It's just like transformed like 3 years ago. From a very unhappy, very stressful, very kind of burnout, kind of a single mom and caregiver for decades to become a little playful kids. Even my kids would be like, "You are crazy. You are not supposed to be a 50-something years old woman." I was like, "But I'm just me." Right? I can go back to the playful joy self. So it become my choice.
Wow. I love that. And it's so strange that we lose that playfulness along the way.
Mhm.
And I think it's a consequence of going out and trying to figure ourselves out, taking on the
Yeah.
responsibilities, the jobs, the family, all
Mhm,
that stuff.
mhm.
We feel that weight of responsibility. It's easy to lose that. I speak French, so
Yes.
joie de vie, and that
Mhm.
spice of life. And you mentioned that before. That curiosity allows you to see the world differently because you actually are willing to put yourself in the spaces that you talked about there. And
Mhm.
I think you brought out something interesting in there for me that I heard. It takes confidence to be curious, to say,
Mhm.
I'm okay challenging the way I look at the world. I'm solid enough on who I am to see it from somebody else's perspective.
Yeah.
And that I think is so beautiful. And if only we could perhaps do that a little more often, I don't know. Maybe we might be nicer to each other. Maybe we might get a little bit happier along the way.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. Let's do this. You know yourself better than I. How about you share with the audience? Who are you?
Yes. I mean, we all know there's a statement say I am, but then we can fill in the blank, whatever I am this, right? And for me right now is really I am just the energy. Like awareness and frequency, vibration is all our expression. Like when we talk, they have vibration coming in. When we see things or someone sees us, it's still the vibration. So if we exist, really for me right now, it's just the energy. It's full of a different vibration. But of course, I do have identity shift so many times. So now I don't have any identity because whenever I associate with it, we change it. So then I say, well, if that's the case, I'm just anticipate anything coming out the next. So I'm always that I am blank. The blank is always there. I can fill in, and I allow to be go in different direction. I can be happy. I can be sad. So I can say I am whatever the current feeling. But for my identity, the really human 3D identity, I would say I am now doing the holistic lifestyle mentor and want to guide people, particularly the stressful and burnouts and over 40 beings. They all focus on creation and to get something done because they think they're limited time now. Like, I passed midlife, what have I done? Right? That's me. I was always seeing that whenever the end of the year I hear the song, "This is a Christmas, what have you done?" Oh, I'm start crying. For years. I was like, what have I done? Right?
Wow.
But now I'm so joyful. Yes, I done a lot of things, even look like invisible. Maybe I don't see any 3D material things showing up, but I know I done a lot because I exist. Right? I'm the energy, I vibrate, whatever the good or bad, I'm still insist to influence others, influence the whole vibration. So as a holistic lifestyle mentor, I really want anybody talk to me has that shift. You can be empowered. You don't need to stay in this old identity you created for yourself. You can just practice just like I did. I am blank. And to fill it out in the beginning of the morning, choose the good one, of course, because you want to get your day start great, right? So I have a habit called miracle habit. Every time I wake up, before I just move myself, I just open my eyes, I will say to myself, I am a miracle. Then I can just like jump saying, yes, I am a miracle. So with that energy, the boost and with the recognition about I exist, I'm so important, then I can feel everything's possible. I don't know whether that answer your question, but that's my
I
current
love it.
situation right now.
I love it because I ask that question that way every single time because I love the uniqueness of the response. And what I'm finding more people are answering it close. The longer I do this, the more people are answering the way you did in some way of saying, I get it. This is the way most people want me to answer. Here's the labels. Here's the job I do. Blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
But this is really who I am, or what I aspire to do with my time and my energy. And I love that. I love that, and love the miracle habit that you talked about there at the end of that reflection and that sharing, because I think it's first grounded in this gratitude of I am this unique energy, and
Mhm.
I'm important enough to do something with it, and to take that, like when you check in on that, which I think so many people forget. I
Mhm.
think that's actually probably one of the bigger problems, is that we forget that that uniqueness is beautiful in and of itself, and it's and that uniqueness is worth investing time and energy into that, whether it is in taking care of the body,
Mm,
nourishing the relationships that are in its environment, or using it to create beautiful things. If we're not starting from that place of beauty and abundance and love, you're
mhm.
only going to spew negativity and energy that is not aligned with what you want to create in your life. So I love the
Yeah.
reflection, because the other side of it that I loved is that you allow for experience to come in. You're holding space for whatever human experiences might come your way without judging it. And I think
Mhm.
that it aligns very much with the curiosity you were speaking to beforehand and the confidence that comes with that.
Yeah, but I wasn't like that. It's really the determination at certain points. For me, it's really the lowest points. And I stay there so long. I say, why I'm still here? Then I start to ask the question, why I'm still feel this lousy and low, why? But I think it's just asking too much why. I get tired of it. So how about change the why become what I can do? So just a little bit more than I used to do and a little bit more positive than I used to be. And that little momentums, I think, really just start to losing the whole thing. And then right now I'm certified as a tiny habits coach. So when the journey was the tiny habits, even wider my view about the habits. Oh, actually, we have all this control to make our behaviors in the way we like. But it's not really the behavior drive us to be who we are, want to be, wanting to be, but it's more like the allowance, just open the door, step into this uncertainty. That's the thing. When we don't want to go the road I didn't travel before, then in no way find out what is the wonders, what are those experience out there, because we just want to stay in the same place. For me, it's more than 30 years. Long enough to know I don't want to go there anymore. I already visit everywhere. So let me get out there.
There's a couple things you brought up there. I really enjoyed the shifting in your language from asking why to what. Ty, come over here, buddy. Hey, I got a treat. He wants his attention. I told you he's gonna come make his appearance, guest
You
appearance
want to
all the
be
time.
join the vibrations. Yeah.
He wants to join the positive vibes. I want to be part of the experience. Hey Ty, I got a treat for you, bud. I'm gonna bring him into the conversation. I'm
No
staying with.
problem.
Come here, buddy. Daddy's got you. For anybody who's watching at home right now, Ty's about to enter the screen. He's gonna wave a little bit. Hi to
Oh,
everybody.
you're so cute.
He is something. He just went through a pile of his own toys. Didn't
Mm.
want any of them. I had to send a picture to my wife and told her he just denied me this. I don't know what to do. I just threw my hands up. Like, I don't know what to do. Um, what
Mm.
does they say? The why to what? Have you ever read the book Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss?
Well, the more I get it, a lot of people say, did you read this? I would say, I did not, but I totally understand the point they try to share. It's just because we are all connected in a way. I might not know who say that, but we, at some point, we would just align with what they share. Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't read that, but I think that is really major. A lot of people we are helping, they need to start to play with it. What and why? Just you can
yeah.
feel that differences. Mhm.
So he one of the things he teaches, it's a lot about negotiation, and ultimately
Mhm.
the path we're going on is coaching ourselves into the
Yeah.
better version of ourselves.
Mhm.
And everything in life is negotiated. Everything is a sale. And especially if you are taking yourself on the journey, because that's what owning your own life is, you're selling yourself on the better version of yourself.
Mm.
Anyway, one of the strategies he talks about is a lot of people ask, well, why? And when you really think about it, think of like that annoying little kid. Why? And eventually you go, because when you shift it to asking a what question, it asks for context. Ty, come here, buddy. I just took
He's
care of you.
asking why too. Why?
He's asking, Dad, why can't I be a part of the conversation? Why can't I be belong in this? Why? There you go, buddy. Good boy. So it's funny that you were bringing that natural shift because of a why question leaves it very open and it creates a lot more uncertainty. A what question narrows it down to what can I do?
Mm,
So I
mm,
love that you did that. And then you talked about the tiny habits. Well, habit is a what proposition. I can put this into action. And if you're feeling stuck, getting just overcoming that inertia
mhm,
is so
mhm,
powerful, making it what's one thing I can do right now to move in the direction of where I want to go. It starts to open the door to the transformation. You feel like, oh, I just changed my
mhm.
position. I can see my world a little bit differently. I'm a little bit closer to the destination. I loved
Yes.
that reflection.
Yeah,
The,
yeah.
the other thing you said, you brought, 30 years living it, it sounded like, see, you were mentioning like I was 30 years kind of like in this identity. And you talked about you kind of started to overcome, you had a breakthrough, what we'll call it 3 years ago, if I was hearing some of that things correctly.
Mhm.
You went
Yeah.
from this burnout stage to this new shift. Can you take us a little, like, what was going on there about 3 years ago, and then how, and what was part of that shift and that change? What was that like for you?
Yeah, or the first shifts, well, because I'm into human design and gene keys, I have this key 51 is supposed to have a lot of shocks, but the end result for the shock is awakening. And I did see that the whole thing. But the reason I wasn't really happy, the past 30 years is I came to this country to study biology, get my master's degree and doing medical biology and working in pharmaceuticals. So in the first 10 years each, I would say I have a lot of fun, get my degree and then find a job and move and become parents and have two young boys and all that is great. But then something start to kind of take it away from me. Now I understand that's part of the ascension process. Everybody will go through it, kind of expansion and construct it. Then we come back to experience different life. So it's always in the circle, right? It's coming and going. So I'm going in the last 20 years, but the going part is too much for me to handle. First of all, I went to the job and I don't really think I got accepted because difference and different background culture thing I put into a box is never going to fit me. And I try to fit, so that become a conflicts. Then I start have weight gain issue and anger issue, this because you just got pressure. You put it in the pressure cooker, so you become like that. So then also the relationship getting problem. Then I discover a lot of things my ex did, and so we cannot really be together. Then those things I think I finally get out. I am okay. I'm a single mom. That's fine. I take care of two kids without any support. I can do it. But then I think the other ascension process take it out from me is I was told one of my son, the youngest son, has genetic terminal EO problem. It's called Duchenne muscular dystrophy. So everybody know that's happening in the boys. One in every 30,000 boys will have that. And this terminal, usually they cannot live past 20. So I was find out the balance become single mom and all of a sudden this one shoot me, then I just like, all right, I'm a single mom. I'm the only income, but with his conditions, a lot of therapy, a lot of surgery, a lot of things, how I can balance them all. I tried, but then 3 years after his diagnosis, there's no way I can do it. So I resigned my job as a scientist. I just quit. I have nothing. I have no training on the streets. I don't have any plan to get the income by become the real estate investors. So I buy rental property. I don't fix them. I just manage them. But then it is just like the whole thing over and over again, and that is the year 2008. That is the real estate market crash year. So I just, oh, there's another hit. So I just kind of, oh, this roller coaster ride, and it didn't go up. It's like going, and then I say, stop. I need to stop. I don't want to go in the bottom, right? But never stop. We have always have something coming in and going on, and but luckily, I think my son, even he went through so many surgeries, so many suffering. He's still with me. He's 26. He's going to be 27 this year. So for that side, right now I can see I'm giving this opportunity to witness miracles every day. And how a human being can really accept the running, then become nothing. After 9, he had the using wheelchair, and now his only thing he can move is his eyes. And he's still playing game. He do the live streaming, and he growing his community. Um, so Fuang, he is not always happy, but I can see him just like moving along with his condition. So then I think the 3 years ago is like after navigation, what can I do? So I like to cook, I like to eat. So then I think, how about just bringing the street food in Taiwan, that's where I grew up, into the food truck industrial. So I become a food truck operator. I bring in there, I have this big dream. I want to just like create this fusion food with healthiness and deliciousness into the dish I offer on the streets. Um, but he didn't do the marketing analysis. This is not a food truck business do. They only do something quick, something fancy. They don't care about healthy. They just want to have this delicious, greasy and deep fried thing, particularly in the area I am in the Midwest. Everybody just want that kind of food. So then I still doing that. And from that process, I can learn how to live in the present moment, because you only got 2 seconds, 2 minutes to get things out of the door. You don't have way to think about, oh, what I'm gonna do tomorrow, or oh, I didn't do that yesterday. No, you don't have time for shipping around. So 7-year training, I become understand what is the meaning for living the present. Even I'm busy, and all this, I'm everything. I'm the dishwasher, I'm the driver for this 57 foot long trailer, and I am, the cashier. If someone cannot come, I'm doing all that, right? Um, but I think I so appreciate that it's like, gosh, I don't know, even know I can do this. So then I got more confidence, just like you say. Well, once you get confidence, everything's possible. Everything just a play. Because you don't see failure. You say, oh, this time I didn't do it. Next time I know how to do not to do that, right? So the confidence come in. But I think the 3 years shift is really happened. Or after food truck, I also take on a local business as a small Chinese restaurants, because I would think about what if food truck didn't work, maybe restaurant would work, right? This like logical mind thinking. So I go into the business with 2 chefs, but we're not getting along. So oh gosh, I don't want to say too much, but like I'm so guilty about the food we put on the table for the customer, because from that kind of a conditioned kitchen, I just like, oh, that's my karma. That's why I have to stay and contemplate what I need to do better. But one night I'm cleaning the grease trap. I don't know, the grease trap. It's like everything gooey and smelly and being there. If we don't clean it up regularly, and the water will rise up and flood the whole kitchen. So I'm the one to do that regularly. So in that gooey, we try to get things out, dirty job, then I start burst out laughter. I just don't know why. I just feel so funny. You think about, right? An ambitious young lady came to this country and get her science degree and want to contribute her whatever into the health, and want to create some solution for the health problems. And in the end, I'm doing a bend down and cleaning out the dirty thing. It just become a funny story. And I think it's just the time I break open. I say, it's not the problem. It's just a process. I don't see the value, but now I can see all the value. But in that moment, it just cracked open. And I think it's everybody who might have some experience in later in their life because that is the shocks, right? I'm building with a lot of shocks, but for that, I can start to see there's a huge purpose behind those shocks. Um, so that I would say that's my short version of identity shifts and understand we are just here to experience life and live in the present moments. Then even a dirty job still needed. Otherwise, nothing can run the right way. So I learned several great lessons in the past, I would say, stressful life.
There is a lot to unpack in that short story that you just shared right there. Cal, if nothing else, I hope anybody listening to this counts their blessings, because, and the other side of that is, so many people just give up at the first sign of catastrophe. Hey, Ty, come over here, buddy. That from everything, just, I mean, so many people are afraid to leave their own hometown, let alone go
Mm.
to another country where it's not their native language. That alone is terrifying to most. Tyson, come here, bud. That right there was the first, like, the get. Not only that, for you to come to the States and study biology, to study science, to study, that's like not an easy, that's not an easy thing in and of itself. That's that's hard. But to then go on this journey from relationship fallouts to to navigating your son's health, to putting yourself in all these, like, I hope people just take, hey, just keep going, just keep going. These are just experiences, and what I loved what you're bringing out there was, these are all lessons, and the fact that you could laugh in just this shitty moment where it's cleaning out grease. I don't know. To me, that's when we can find humor in the moment, even in our darkest moments. I feel like it's the way out. It really is. If we can find a way to
Yeah,
laugh,
yeah.
even when it
Mhm.
just seems like, what the hell am I doing here? And but there's also the beauty where we said, like, every job has its worth. Like, if you don't do that one thing, if that thing doesn't get clean, it's, while it's not pretty, it still has value. Still has importance.
Mhm.
I think a lot of people just want to do the bright, shiny thing, but they don't want to master the craft of understanding, hey, what's under the hood of this job? What goes into, obviously I like to speak, but what goes into understanding how to convey a message? You got to
Mhm.
actually go understand who your audience is. You got to go sit in some uncomfortable spaces hearing their stories. You got to put yourself out there. You got to be, I'm using a very small example, but the idea being, you got to go do some work and quote unquote suffer to understand what the purpose
Mhm.
is going to reveal itself to be. And most people don't
Yeah.
understand that. Ty, you're being rude, buddy.
Well,
Um,
it's not only not understand, they're just not aware there's a different way to face the suffering.
ooh,
It's just when you make your attitude choose, you have your own label. Like that's how my problem is. I label it based on what people say. That's a bad thing. That is not good. It's just their opinion become my beliefs. I think that is the turning point for a lot of people. When you mature enough, you understand it's just the BS, right? The belief system you created for yourself. But then it's just when we mature enough and aware enough, we actually do can make the choice. That's how I hope right now I'm focused on aware, let people become aware of their joy blueprints because we are born happy. We can be happy forever if we choose to. But then usually we don't choose that. We always just get away from our inner joy. But there are still have any points we can still connect it with that inner joy. It doesn't need to give it up because we are living this two sides, duality. If I choose that, I'll lose that. No,
Mm,
that is not. That's only just in our belief system, you know.
yeah.
But it's always have so many, because in the quantum energy, they are bumping around like so many possibilities. But if we only choose one to see two, we can only have two.
Mm,
Right. But
wow.
I think it's just later on, I believe to say, gosh, you know, all the structure or the belief system or all the whatever I create for myself, it's one truth, one part of a truth, but it's not the whole thing. You know, I'm just become more curious. What's the other side? What the other
Mm,
side? You know, up and down and left and right. Um, but before we can do that, is really need to have that awareness. We do have a power. Then we have a confidence to play. Then the other is just allow to happen. You don't have any expectation what will happen. I think the other way I struggle in the past 3 years as an entrepreneur is always thinking about, yes, I put effort in. This is what I did. And the expectation should be A, B, C, D. Again, I think that's limiting ourselves to see we only want to see A, B, C, D. But maybe something we just not able to see is already there. That nice to have A, B, C, D match with what we think. But then we might be misled about that is about success. That would be just that's our goal. But I think we need to find anything beyond that. Even we have a ABCD, we need to want to see more on the back, how we can make it the energy, the imprinting even better. But if we don't see the ABCD, we actually need to congratulate ourselves. This is maybe not the right way to do things. Then you can start to play around, maybe shift a different way or understand your more. Maybe that way fit with somebody else, not fit me. Because really the business is our vibes. People buy us, not buy the product, the services. They want us to be part of their life, right? So if we don't even know what we can offer and what really we are here for, it's very difficult for people want to invest time with you. Particularly right now, everybody's busy, right? And there's so many options out there. Um, and the personal branding is really the thing I think I'm missing in the past 3 years when I built my business. But now I'm all around go deep and all around knowing myself. Self-discovery need to come first. Then any product you want to sell, as long as it's from your heart, not from your mind, will sell. You just need to find the people they are looking for it, right? So that's visibility. That is the art. I just think that is totally art, but we can get there when we really just be ourselves.
I love, 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 love everything you just said there, especially about we're the energy. In the coaching space, I don't think people get that. People think they're selling, if you're a fitness coach, you think you're selling workouts and nutrition plans. They think they're selling um, business information if you're a business coach. No, if you're a coach, you're selling you. You're selling a relationship to you because
Mhm.
they believe if they are closer to you, they're going to attract more of the success that you have or the lifestyle, whatever the things that you value and you espouse and you're putting out there, they're going
Mhm.
to have more of that stuff. And I loved that you said that because if you don't, ultimately, if you don't know who you are, you're going to put out a bunch of stuff that's not you. You're
Mhm.
going to attract that into your life because that's what you're selling. And you're going to bring a bunch of people into your life that are doing things that don't align with what you want to do. Go figure, you're not going to be super happy with that. But if
Yeah.
you want to have deep, meaningful
Mhm.
conversations and laugh about the dog yipping in the background or whatever, talk about spirituality and go on that journey and be loved for being authentic, you better put that out there. Otherwise, by the wrong relationship, they're going to be buying what I think most people are putting out there nowadays, as you talk about personal branding, they're putting out the surface. And often they're just renting they're renting somebody else's thing to shine some shell to make it look like they're the thing, as opposed to just, hey, I'm going to be the real person. I'm going to hold some space for you. You want me to help you with that? Because when
Hmm.
you're comfortable, what I was really coming through was so many people are not comfortable just being themselves, that
Hmm.
if you're the person who's okay with just being you, that's worth something. And that doesn't sound, to many people, I'm sure it feels like they would pay for that. Yes. Yes. When you feel so burnt out and inauthentic and just tired of all the BS that everybody props up, like you have to live this way and that's the only way to feel successful.
Hmm.
Or like, I want to be happy. I've lost so much joy in my life because I've burdened myself with all of everybody else's expectations and judgment, which you brought up before, that you said it was
Hmm.
just, I was just, it was everybody else's voice in my head that I was trying to detach from. You can come back to joy. You can come back to experiencing love in your life, not least of which loving yourself.
Hmm.
I thought that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
such a great reflection that you shared there that I don't think enough people are hearing. I've shared a few times, like you're one of the other people that I've ever heard say it that way. I loved the reflection. It was great. As I still got
Thank
him
you.
bark in the
Yeah. Well,
background.
it just I don't know. That is the current view. We can always flip it, but then I think the other way I find myself doing is judgment about, I already been there, but why I'm still not happy or something like that. Like we think we are there, but then we are not there, and then we judging ourselves again. But the more I understand is, since if really everything's energy, they can go everywhere. And it's still, if we still trigger by that or feel depressed or angry, that means we still have blockage, because if the energy want to go through it and you block it and they just pumping, so they got more and more and more the momentum to get back to you. So there become a such a hint. So right now, as a happy coach, it's just I ask people, what are you unhappy with, or what are you mad at something? And that is the point. That is really on us to let it open up. You cannot really say I drop it, I suppress it, because you try to sugarcoat it, then it's not working. Sooner or later, you still need to turn on the lights. Oh, still here. So it's better just like, oh, I know it's there, but I don't really kick it as enemy. I don't really, try to hide it deeper. It's more like just have a conversation with it. It's like, why, you know? So this why is not like to go anger and find the reason who to blame why. It's more like gentle to say, I know that. I know I've been there and you're still here. Maybe I didn't really get deeper enough. So they will bring us down to the different level. And you understand, oh, I still have that BS in that corner I didn't clean. You know? Then you start to have more fun because this become treasure hunts. Um, at least I think that's how I finally get myself out there, because I still feel, oh, I already read this book. I already practiced this. And I was there. Then I'm not. That give me more of the evidence I'm not able to define. I'm just everywhere. I can be up and down, I can be left and right, but everywhere is the right place to be in that moment. That's why I have more fun making, like, because my profile, I'm the investigator. So I make it become my game, daily treasure hunts to find out something I still hiding inside myself.
Wow. Well, there's a couple things you shared there that I think are worth coming back to. One of them is that the growth process, you're going to come back to the same stuff. You just got to go deeper. I thought that was huge. I just posted that yesterday at the time of this recording
Cool.
about that. Success is like the growth process is cyclical. You come back to the same things, but
Mhm.
success in that moment looks different than the time before. Maybe you're kinder to yourself. Maybe you're more forgiving to other people. Maybe you're more accepting. Or whatever the
Mhm.
thing is. Maybe you go through that situation with more grace.
Yeah.
I
Or
think that you
try
shift that,
again, right? Yeah, get
or
a chance
try
to
again.
polish more skills. So
Even just what you said there, like you're more excited about the opportunity to grow through that experience. That in and of itself is the falling in love with the process of growth as opposed to making growth a destination. And that is just a
Mhm.
one, you actually get to experience life. And you talked about just being present. Oh, I'm learning all these different roles on the food truck. Oh, okay. So I know all the different roles on the food truck now, as opposed to be like, well, I'm doing this role right now. I suck. Or you're just learning all the things that are to the food truck. Awesome. That's great. And there was another thing that I heard in there about, well, at least where I took it was that more this the willingness to go deeper and less like a resentment or more forgiveness towards other people, less judgment. I think
Mhm.
that was important because you said like it allowed me to go deeper. I wasn't even aware of where I was at. I thought I'd figure something out. Hi, come here, bud. You're like, I thought I'd figure something out, but this
Mhm.
person brought me this new awareness through something that
Mm.
might not have felt great in the moment, but it taught me something about myself. I think that that is a profound statement in of itself because learning to love other people, including those that are quote unquote your enemy,
Mhm.
Ty, I'm learning how to love you through your barking and your rudeness right now, sir.
Ah.
Say real life examples right now, learning on the fly. Very spiritual concept in general of like love thy enemy as you love your friend.
Mhm.
That willingness, I don't think people see it that way. And what I think in that is that you're actually learning how to love that darkness that you actually harbor within yourself. And there's a forgiveness and a maturation and a growth process in that. And again, as we keep talking about this idea of peace and love and happiness, if we can forgive and see past the pain that somebody else might be in the current moment be
Mhm.
bestowing on us, but we can still love them anyway. That doesn't mean stay there and just keep getting punched in the face over and over. That's ridiculous. But being able to see the good or the potential good in them and find love in
Mhm.
that space
Mhm.
allows you to see the love in you at the same time. That's a happier place to live in all the
Yeah.
time. You're not attaching your
Mhm.
identity to the pain of a moment, which, man, how freeing is that? I just thought your reflection there was so beautiful on those couple those standpoints there. It was so cool. That's just so cool.
Yeah, but you're just so like, conversation wise, you can just catch the essence what I'm sharing. That is a special skill too. It's just like you can just such a short time and summarize it and get it in the next level. I really like that. Hmm.
Well, if you're trying to make me blush, it's not just my fake and bake right now. It's you're getting me into my feels right now. Tell my wife that, please, because then she'll be like, okay, maybe I should listen to the podcast more. I told her last day. My wife does not listen to the podcast, mind you. She's
Uh,
like, because I get it on a running auto repeat all day long when you come home and talk to her. She comes home and talks to me because this doesn't turn off when the recording stops. This just keeps going. So um, I find like for to give you some context, like I find a lot of joy in being able to contextualize other people's thoughts. It's like, wow,
mm,
this is how do I frame this and how would I say this and how like and I'm sure you felt the same way in coaching people. Coaching to me is really a learning process. I'm
mhm.
learning about them. The
Yeah.
the client is teaching me,
Yes, it's
not the other way around.
mhm.
That took me a long time, mind you. A very immature coach, Caleb, thought like I gotta have all the answers and I'm gonna tell you what to do. And I don't get me wrong, I got an ego. So like every now and then this creeps back in. But the beauty of the coaching experience is somebody's gonna open their heart and share their experience.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
they're teaching you. They're teaching you the information that it's going to take to help them open the door to their own stuff.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
It almost
That's
just doesn't make
yeah.
sense. but it
Mm,
works.
yeah, that's the energy thing, right? It always has that receiving and giving. That is the whole complete loop. But if we only give, like if we coach, we're parents, we have more knowledge than others. Yes, they need that. But if they don't really take it in and feedback to us, then you feel like you're just draining your energy. Especially a lot of people become like totally burnt out in their coaching or mentoring. They just say, I do all the thing. I heard, got my heart out, do those things for them, but they don't even change or they don't really appreciate and they don't even show up what the program they pay for. I heard about this. People say, I just feel guilty about taking their money because they didn't show up. Um, but now I contemplate that it's the energy problem. It's that maybe we too much force out and without this allowance, let their voice in. Because this is really the great coherence process, right? They need this, we can offer this. So then they become vibrate the same wavelengths. Then everything can happen from that coherence experience. But because we're so passionate about what we know, right? We want to just see them change overnight, particularly if you have a kids. It's like, the behavior coming and it's like so many years and it's just not changing it. Um, but it's just their timing. Maybe they never hear you the right way. I so right now I kind of just get myself more the space. If I have time to listen to it, I'm just getting all the time. Then I would just say, what you gonna do with it? They usually have their own answer because they share. When they share it, they have this information flowing there and it become more clear which one they can pick, which one they can ditch. But if they never have someone talk to or listen to what they said, there's always track in our head, and that's a human design issue. There's things track on your head because that's energy track because they don't have a motor to take it out. But if you have interaction talking to another being, they have a different energy thing, and when we connect and when we talk, that things become flow differently. So you might have a chance just to release that. So that's the counseling, the psychologists, they are all serving the purpose, but still we are the one to let go. We are the one to, I don't need to do the same thing again. So you make the choice. And so in the end, really, I congratulate everybody, talk to anybody, even your parents, spouse, teacher, kids. We are all winners because we mingle our thought together so we can all let go or, realize that it's not the good thing. But that, of course, the most five people you interact with are very important because their vibe can get into your vibes too. If you don't want them to be that close, we need to be very careful about the engagement and the environments or the TV or radio, whatever the program we're watching or hear, because that can be trapped in our head without a way out.
Hmm. Well, you illuminated a couple of great concepts there. One was taking ownership. It's
Mhm.
the client. There we go. I got the fun emojis showing up from my Apple update. It shows up with the thumbs up. As somebody who holds space, call it a coach, therapist, counselor, whatever role you're appropriately fitting into, as we're talking about there, it's still on the client to share the information. You have to take ownership of the process, saying, I'm going to share some information. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to practice processing all those things. Nobody else can do that for you. And I think everything you shared there shows the importance of why being authentic and real as a practitioner, as somebody who's going to be the one holding space, they need to feel safe enough to take the first step. And they often know the answers. Like you said, they got information. And what you said there about kids, I think the ultimate, I'd love to get this take on it as well from you, but I believe a coach's job is to put themselves out of a job. If
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna if I have to be here forever, you've made yourself a crutch, and usually that's because you're operating from scarcity of, oh, I need to make money. I don't know if there's enough clients in this world. Well, people are lonely, and there's going to be forever people processing information. That's if people want to do the math on it, that's what it is. If you're not willing to put yourself out of a job, you're not going to set up the system so that that person can actually self-regulate, that they can take those tools and go on and live. So, and why I thought the with kids was such an important thing you brought up. How many people don't teach their kids how to think for themselves? They say, here's the box you got to shove yourself into. Look at our education systems. You got to
Mm-hmm.
learn to this test. You have to do it my way, this way, the only way to think about it. You can't come to conclusions on your own, even if you fail. And I think that the other side of it is like, I don't want to feel like I was bad as a teacher if they failed. So I'm going to force them even more, as opposed to saying, I want them to learn how to fail and work through information. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
it takes
Mm-hmm.
time. Yes, you must be patient. But perhaps, as you said before, that's your karma. You need to learn how to be more patient with other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's so. You brought up so much about like this childlike joy and childlike curiosity, but this is like childlike leadership in staying open and keeping those things alive and letting it flow and allowing failure and holding space. Uh, that was, man, it just, if you couldn't tell, you've got me fired up from this conversation. I'm pretty excited about everything you shared.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
And
you kind of trigger me think about that. I can share that too. I'm the happy for no reason trainer. So by the book, I actually have the book with me. I can show this one. Well, it's kind
yeah.
of reversed. But Marcy, she's also a student from Jack Canfield. So
Mm.
the first foundation, like the 7 area for us to be happy for no reason. The first area is the foundation. Um, she using like an analogy as a house, the foundation, the 4 pillars, and the roof and the garden. Okay, so the foundation based on Jack Canfield say we need to think about responsibility equal to response ability. Is
Ooh.
that, I think that is really giving, oh, that is what we didn't see. We always think about responsibility just become heavy and we don't want it. But it's really just how we choose to respond. And so Jack Canfield has the equation called E plus R equal to O. E is the events, like what happened, right? And the R is our response. O would be the outcome. If you want to play with it, event maybe it's not changing. There's always there. But the only thing is the dependent, if we choose the response, you can play, oh, I response A, B, C, D, then outcome will be A, B, C, D. Then if you can pause, give you space and time and patience, you choose the response because you want that desired, outcome. But usually we just react it because that's our program, our habits, our operation system before you're 7 years old. We want to protect, we want to react, we want to defend it. So that it become reactive. This is not a response ability, it's become programmed reactivities. But that is so fundamental. Right? We can go down to that foundation of the house of the happiness, then you understand if we don't have that one built, solids, regardless of what else you can do mindset training, you can do emotion intelligence, you can do the hard, all this spirituality training. It's not going to work for you because you still depends on your old, outdated operation system to react, other than to choose using your consciousness to choose the response. Then you can choose the outcome. I just want to share that because that is something is wake me up. So yes, why not?
You wow, I've never heard that. I never read the I've never thought about breaking responsibility into the two. I heard another life coach person say quote, responsibility breeds empowerment. And that what you brought there layered that even more for me, because your responsibility is what improve to be empowered to me is like, you know how to confidently be yourself in a lot of different situations. Well,
Mhm.
if your ability to respond is expanded, go figure. I think that's,
Yeah.
and you said it
Mhm.
pretty eloquently there. If you never have to apply it, you're never going to learn how to respond in a different fashion. You're never going to realize it is on your shoulders and how you choose to engage the event, to engage the circumstance. So, wow, that was, I'm going to have to check that out. That one, I was like, I got to go teach my clients or I got to teach my group that soon. Like, that
Yeah,
was
definitely. Yeah.
fireworks. So I was on your podcast and you did my human design on me, which I love it. You know me, I love a well-examined life. I love introspection in all different formats. How did you get, well, tell us a little about what human design is, where it comes from, all that kind of stuff, because I still am a little vague on all of it.
Mhm.
And how did
Mhm.
you get to it, and how do you integrate that into the experiences that you guide people through?
Yeah. Well, when you hear the name human design system, you thought like really we can design a human. But the more I get into it, the science is going to be showing up too. We are really playing a game here. We have the system created for us to explore. We are the avatar with our soul. So as though this amazing game system we are playing, at least this is what the current consciousness leading us to believe. But I don't believe anything until I'm experienced, then I can believe the next thing. So I never attach to something. But the current one,
Trust but
um,
verify kind of thing.
yes, it's just like I need to experience, if that's the game, I want to play a whole out. Right? Um, but the system really combine four different oscillatory system. They are like ancient, thousand years. One of them is ancient I Ching, the hexagram. Then the other is the Hindu chakra. We all know align our energy source, then we can connect the source. Then the other two, one is the astrology. We all know it's a 12 different house, this alignment of the solar system. And the last one is not showing up on the chart, but it's called the tree of life. That's Kabbalah, is the Hebrew system. Based on their they have this records. Everybody here, they know how they come in and how they go out. But anyway, that is just the record system. But you think about it, in order for those four systems to work perfectly, whenever people give you the reading or we contemplate it, it's really reflect your storylines, right? So that gave me more of curious about really if that's the scientists usually have the hypothesis, right? You collect data to prove it, yes or no, then you have a conclusion to share. Right? That's the process. So if you hypothesis say, okay, we are in the game and we come down here to experience the 3D, and what kind of evidence I need to collect? I need to have GPS, right? I have avatar, the one to play, right? And I also need to have different experience the life in different phases, right? So we need to have the maze to get in and to get lost, then come out or save the princess, whatever in the game you're playing. Right? So you always have this game pieces, but then they give you choices, right? When you have something coming to you, do you choose to run or fight or find a different tools and go to different room, get that lifesaver or something, it's always have other options in there. Then the other thing is you have an enter point and exit points. Right? You get in there, then you can master the level, you go to the next. And the end, you'll be congratulated, you finish the game. Right? So if that, did you feel like I'm saying just what we are doing? It's similar, right? It doesn't say definitely. But all the energy pieces, all the records, the esoterics can tell us what the life we're going to experience. That is become more even. Really? So if we are the avatar coming here to play, and but we giving the free will, the choices, then anywhere we do you think that's a predetermined, or we still can have a lot of point to change? Because depends on the moments you made the choice. So you go into different route, right? That's the tree of life. That's the Hebrew thing. He doesn't say you here to be suffered this, you built into the game. It cannot be your way out. It's it's rather to give you these blueprints, and you can choose the way to face that challenges. You embrace the experience other than trying to get away. Because if you finish, you cannot finish the level. If you don't collect everything you need to do, you cannot go to the next level, right? So we kind of stay in there. But human design systems give you the blueprints, give you the concept about we are in this so 3D illusion game. So everything is just give us a reflection. We see things because from our external, we want to see, but when we reflect back, it's different information. So if you understand the game pieces, how you play it, you give the living moments, you don't really say, oh, that's the game, who cares? No, you're still playing the game because that's the purpose be here. And but you do need a GPS. You do need a little guidance about what is things I need to do, because everybody's different. We're coming down, we have a different view, we have different programming, right? We have different genetics from our parents, ancestors. So they're imprinting everything they did for their lives is stored in that DNA. That is actually the science now. It's not really just a spirituality guess, right? Because DNA is really such a powerful digital data storage device, because right now people even invested to using the bacteria DNA to store some digital because the cloud is getting too full. But anyway, that is science. We don't talk about. The reason I use human design system is I can see myself at different level. Like the human design system is just like iceberg. The mind, the body, we all know the connections, and our soul, our body looking like it's on the up surface. But below, they got color, got tone, got lines, and got the hexagram combination, your energy, your ancestor DNA is all in there. We don't know, but that become our deep operation system. It's like iceberg. You had a huge 90% under the water. You only see 10% or less on the top. But we made so much effort to make that 10% better. But then we don't know, we are designed differently to come here to do different things. But when you think about you align with your core, which is deep in there, your beingness is down there, then you're doing something with alignments. That is the power come from. That's what the self-discovery really need to happen, because you align and you know who you coming down here to do. Then you have all this life experience that become your strengths, your tools you collect through all this game, right? So you can put them together. It's a toolbox. Then you carry that. Then you have this GPS. You have this gene keys about your life journey. And what a great game to play, right? You're not put in the dark. It just become a treasure hunt for us to find the hints, for us to find the tool, for us to discover the mission. Then in the end, we can really celebrate because we got it all. That's the fun parts. At least that's what I see the human design system I'm using for. I don't really say that is me, but I so appreciate the information. They show me the different levels. So now I can have better idea about the whole quantum view rather than just focus on 3D, because 3D is just such a game place for us to enjoy and experience. So when we have chance to share, doing podcasts and writing the book and making music and painting, all the great creativity can show up. That's how we appreciate the diverse experience from everybody, because they're presenting their view, and we need that information to understand our view. So, but a lot of people may be using human design to just read you and give you the directions and do something. You can do that too, because you can do anything. You can modify your diet. You can find a place you need to live, and you can know your perspective, how you limit yourself to see things as a particular way. That's all built in, but it's not wrong. It's because you think about, if everybody's seeing the same thing, is that going to be fun? I don't know. It's just um so that they have a system in there that has a 4 radical transformation spots. I using that as a tool to lead people through their own transformation. If they see through their own eye, they see, understand whatever the language show them, the label, the numbers, but they don't really give you solutions. You are the master to collect all the information. They use it to play your game. Then the transformation is really just you are doing that. No one save you. No one give you anything. You is the one to experience it and become empowered. Then have fun, right? That's really the happiness is everything. If we lose
Yeah.
that, I don't know. Then why you play the game in the first place?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a real good point. Why play the game in the first place if you're not going to enjoy it? I think what you brought out, because there's plenty of people who are skeptical about all things, but no matter what, I love how you even just brought it. Like it's a tool for reflection more
Mhm,
than anything. How you engage with that information will be up to you. And like you said it before, I'm going to share some information with you. What you choose to do with it is up to you.
mhm,
That's the empowerment element. You're going to go on the journey. That being said, it sounds like you're using it to help them zoom out beyond their current 3D space. They're feeling stuck. They've tried quote unquote everything other than zooming out. They're just like, I'm just going to bang against this wall and then this wall and then this wall, as opposed to let's zoom out and see the picture as a whole. Oh,
mhm,
go that way, go back a step, turn around. Okay, you'll be fine. Because just forcing yourself more into this direction, but there's a stubbornness and a lack of humility that comes with somebody who just wants to keep fighting that until the universe eventually says, keep going this direction, it ain't going to work out for you.
Well, they can
It,
take you out from the game. It's like, okay, start again.
reset, buddy. Yeah, well, that's a whole different kind of ball of wax. Reset. Very cool. And I'm so fascinated by really anything about how anybody uses tools to assess. I used to be very married to the dogma of like, what's the tool? What's the perfect tool? They're all perfect, quote unquote, in that they're a tool and their information that is sharing some mirror that you will choose to engage with. And I think that's so important because I think everybody learns the tools that work best for the game they're playing. And you said that. You got to play your game, not anybody else's game, because you play somebody else's game, it ain't going to work out. You
Mhm,
have your own divine purpose. It's about discovering what that is along the journey, understanding how to use the tools that are best suited for what you said before. The avatar you're playing, you got to figure out the tools that align best for your character, for your process, for your energy, for your tendencies. And the more you can use these types of interfacing tools to get a clearer picture of what your strengths, your weaknesses, your tendencies are, you're going to know, well, what tools do I need to better improve at? What things do I need to let go of? If you're going to climb a mountain, you don't need to carry 1,000 pounds on your back. Why would you do that? It's just gonna, you're going to get real damn tired for no reason, and you're going to run out of oxygen. You probably should have just carried the oxygen mask instead of the 30-pound weight vest. I don't know.
mhm, mhm.
I'm just coming up with
Yes,
random
yes.
analogies at that point, but I loved it. I love it, and I love any effort to make let's call it spirituality practical, because we still have to communicate these ethereal, esoteric concepts into something that just, and people are always, again, are looking for the perfect thing. Well, it's not. It's a tool and it's information, and it's how you decide to use it,
Mhm.
which ultimately is like, I'm going to accept the consequences of my choices. That's another element of all of this. But you had mentioned before, your scientific mind is, well, here's the hypothesis, I'm going to test it, and we're going to come back and talk about it. We're going to draw some conclusions from the information. Oh, crazy. That's what good science is. That works.
Mhm.
And it
Mhm.
comes from intellectual humility as well to do that. That
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah. Mhm.
wow. This has
Well,
been
I mean,
truly a
that is one of my blessings. My father want me to get to the PhDs, and I I think about it. I say, yeah, why not? But then I didn't go in there because I don't like the current environment about science. I'm not saying they are all the bad thing. It's just we do need to discover, we do need to implement it and make our life easier. But just like you said, like if they become so arrogant and think that is the only truth, based on their view, their design, because they had already got a hypothesis, they were designing it to fit in with the hypothesis, right? So even the data collected really 100% supported significance. But we always have other science talk about, no, that's what not, this, that, what is, for example, coffee. Coffee can be good for like 100 different benefits. Coffee can be bad with all this, you know. So it's just really the points. If we emphasize on something, we can only see that points. That is actually our beingness. We are energy being. So if you only look for something because that's your belief, you attract the same thing. But then if you don't really have that very tight attachment for something, you can see both. But then when you are not in the happy mood, your consciousness, your vibration is also the vertical thing. So it's like horizontal and vertical. Then you are attracting in the same low vertical vibe too. So that really, even you're open-minded, but your consciousness, your vibration still need to go up because you're going to trap in the certain area. But when you go up, just like you said, you got view, then you can choose. You can still choose to be crappy, but you know that's not you. And then you can just rise up again because you're not associated to that. So one thing I practice right now every day is keep that neutral attitude. The neutrality and the emotion spectrum is really the green zone. You go up, it can be joy and peaceful enlightenment. That's purple. You go down, it can be red and yellow and like very deep. But if you in the neutrality, you be easy to flip both. Then eventually you can stay up more because you make the choice more often. But if you stay in the low vibes like I was, very guilty, shameful, and anger and all that, you only see those things. You cannot really see something else. Until I rise up to maybe I can choose to see something. So that be kind of practice and rewire my habits so that then I can see both and make it bigger so I can enhance my responsibilities.
mm, I got to tell you, I've just really loved this conversation. You just, you truly are walking what you are talking. You're literally bringing like this openness, this loving energy. Like you could feel it. I've never met you in person. Like one day, I hope that I just get like see you in person, give you a big old hug.
Yeah, well, we are going to be having more and more of the social interaction. I really happy for that. Hopefully, never lock down anything. But I think this time around, if we really get to it, we still know how to connect with others because the connections in the fields, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the beauty of the opportunities these things present to ourselves. But man, this has been wonderful. I'm looking at the time right now, so I wanted to be respectful of your time. Um, if somebody's listening to this and they're like, I love what she's talking about. I love what Sunny's talking about today. How do I get more of her in my life? What's the best way for somebody to get in touch with
Yes, I am growing my YouTube channel. So you can go YouTube channel and looking for at Sunny Life Solutions. Actually, they are using that for everywhere. If you can search Sunny, just like the weather Sunny, Life Solutions, that one word, then you can find me in linking, find me in the YouTube. I'm doing the channel called Awakening Higher Minds with 64 gene keys. And so you can see all the conversation, like Caleb was one of my guests there. Then if you really want to have a conversation, I think maybe Caleb can put the link and invite you to have 30 minutes free consultation or just chat, just to see whether you think I can offer any services to lead you to understand yourself more. And the other, I'm dropping the link, sunnylifesolutions.com, that you can get my free offer that will give you the happiness assessment training. So you get in there, you can assess your level of the scores. Then you can use the same assessments when you do some changes, when you can see whether your score getting better. Then also 3 tiny habits with the email sequence. So through all the sequence, I invite you to maybe be one of my attendees for the Joy Blueprint, revealing your happiness code. It's 2-hour workshops. It's really workshop, not just I'm saying things. Like you will create your own joy blueprints, and through the 7 areas, the happy for no reason. So you will know your responsibility, your openness, and your connections, and all that. Then you can contemplate that and to give your own way out. Of course, if you need more esoteric readings, I'm here to be hired too.
you? Well, I will absolutely be putting those links in the show notes for today. But um, I can tell you from just experiencing, especially having the reading of the human design stuff, I love it. I love to better understand myself. I love to know my tendencies. I remember the first time I looked at a human design thing, I was like, that sounds like me. And I was going through, I was quite literally banging my head against the walls, feeling like this weight of life. This is maybe about a year ago. I was just feeling very like heavy. And I read the thing because I had a friend send me a thing. And I'm like, huh. But having you break down some, that was my first kind of like, I'm reading through some stuff real quick. But then having somebody like walk me through the conversation. What's this thing mean? Because otherwise it's just a bunch of numbers and stuff.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
there's a lightness about understanding yourself that you feel unweighted. Like, oh, that's how I do things. Yeah, that sounds like me. Oh, wait, I'm doing things that are not in alignment with me. Of course I feel this way. Huh.
Hmm.
Let's go back to doing the thing that I do best, how I play the game best. Oh, yeah, I feel better. Uh, it's so liberating. So I highly encourage anybody who's listening to go check that out. All of those things. There's so many awesome offerings within that. Um, before we close, what are some final words of wisdom that you'd like to share with our audience today?
Yeah, I would like to share a book actually that really wake me up completely. It's
Ooh,
called Stop Fixing Yourself. Wake Up, All Is Well. And Anthony de Mello is one of the amazing spiritual teacher in 20th century. He only lived up to 59 years old, but he is Christian, but he lived in India. So he merged the East and West spiritualities into his own teaching. But what I learned from that, stop fixing yourself, is would you like to fix an avatar forever, or you just need to know your soul? Is that's the game piece you are playing, but you are the one behind the game pieces. So you know you can make the choices. So even the avatar got burnout or, fall down from the cliffs, you have the second chance to get in to play it again. You don't need to fix it. You just need to love the avatar better. So, oh, you come back here again. I appreciate it. Continue to play, right? So in that, I feel more empowered because I tried so many years try to fix that so-called me, but it's not really a whole me. It's just the avatar me. And there are so many short versions of that. You can read it, you can just reflect it. The more you do that to accept yourself, understand what you are, because the emotions and in energy and all this past experience, we're not trying to deny those. They are part of us, but we need to spend more time to embrace it and appreciate what happened to us, because that really become a tool for us to navigate through it.
There's going to be some great clips that are coming out of this episode, just for the record. Some fire quotes, and little sound bites. I'm like, man, got to learn to love the avatar better. Oh,
Yeah.
that one resonated. This has been truly like a wonderful conversation. I'm so grateful that you've come into my. I don't even remember how we got introduced. Was it Lisa? Maybe it was Lisa.
Lisa, yes, yes. Well,
Love
that's
her.
why I actually go to all the network place and I will connect one or two people and open another door. So I really appreciate we are here together and share the whole energy field like everybody else. We share the same field, but we're more coherent to raise up other people's souls together and empower them so they can make more impacts on all the people they can make impact with.
Amen to that. I'm here for that. This has been truly a joy. I'm grateful for you in my life. I'm grateful for this conversation. Thank you so much. Everybody's listening. Go check out the show notes for all those links. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your time and energy with us today. And until next time, I remind you to love everybody.